The first motorsports competition at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway took place in 1909 in the form of motorcycle races. Automobile races would soon follow when the track's original surface of crushed stone and tar proved problematic. Track owners paved the surface with more than 3 million bricks, giving rise to its nickname, the Brickyard. It wasn't until Memorial Day of 1911 the first 500-mile race was held at the Speedway and won by Ray Haroon and his Marmon Wasp. What quickly became known as the Indianapolis 500 became one of the nation's leading sporting events through the 20s and 30s. To win the Indy 500 was to achieve instant notoriety, and the names of early winners like Tommy Milton, Louis Meyer, Wilbur Shaw are indelibly etched in the annals of American motorsports. A nationwide ban on motorsports during World War II nearly spelled the end for Indianapolis, which lay in virtual ruin when a consortium headed by Indiana businessman Tony Holman purchased the facility in 1945. Holman and his partners invested heavily in the facility and expanded the spectator capacity to the point that Indianapolis Motor Speedway became the world's largest sporting arena, and the Indy 500 the world's largest single-day sporting event, with crowds regularly topping 350,000. The March of Progress also included the gradual process of paving over the bricks with a modern asphalt surface. By 1961, resurfacing had been completed, leaving just the famous Yard of Brick at the start-finish line as a tribute to the tradition of the Brickyard. The 1990s saw major changes to the Speedway. 1994, IMS President Tony George, grandson of Tony Holman, consummated an agreement with NASCAR to stage a stock car race, the Brickyard 400, at the Speedway. Then in 2000, George brought Formula One racing back to the USA after a 9-year absence, staging the U.S. Grand Prix at Indy. To do so, however, required a massive renovation of the facility, including the construction of a 2.6-mile road course that combined a portion of the oval with a twisting infield section. Although the F1 race would only last through 2007, its place has been taken by MotoGP, enabling the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to return to its motorcycle roots. In 2014, the road course hosted the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, an IndyCar race, as the kickoff to the month of May, concluding with the Indianapolis 500 on its traditional Memorial Day weekend. Tonight, it's the Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series, round number 5. It's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Again, welcome to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Virtual Speedway, Indiana. We're here for the LSR Sports Car Series, round number 5. Of course, we talked about it from Indianapolis. Qualifying already underway. Go down and check them out here trackside, see where everybody's running, what kind of times we're seeing. We saw some 16s from the prototypes, the LMP2 category, that is, out of, I think it was James Vance early on. Now we're watching Mark Thomas. This is the GT category. See some fast times already on the board, though. Andrew Locke was quick. He's got a couple of wins this season already. Minute 16.976 for Andrew Locke. Mark Thomas bailing out of the car here. Go to Garrett Hagan in the LMP2, the number 30 machine. His best lap so far, a minute 16.91, just about a half-tenth faster than Andrew Locke. Got a 10-minute session. All cars have the track to themselves in their own private quali session. They don't have to worry about lap traffic, slower GT cars, anything of the sort. It's just them, the machine, and the racetrack. Hagen off the final corner, crosses the stripe. It's a minute 16:32. Picked up the pace for Hagen. Kevin Blue on this racetrack as well, out for his qualifying attempt. First lap, a minute 18.602. Lap 2 a little quicker, minute 17.447. That's sixth fast so far of the cars that have run. Sean Roberts on the track, a minute 17.53 for his first trip around. Take a moment here and look at the initial practice times. Fastest was Kyle Surratt, a minute 15.899, besting James Vance by just under 0.2. Of course, this is the overall standings as far as practice was concerned. You see there's some varying times there. Zach Millett on the speedway was quick in practice. We'll see what kind of qualifying effort Zach can throw down. His first lap, a minute 24.444. Lap 2, pretty consistent, minute 24.421, 13th overall. Does put him to be the fastest GT so far. Again, about 2.5 minutes remaining in the session before we call it official for qualifying. Drew Blaze on the speedway in the Ferrari, minute 24.816. Drew Blaze, a Lonestar racing veteran, I guess you could say. Spends plenty of time behind the wheel, not just over the road course side of things, but certainly quite a bit of success on the oval side. He's quick in just about anything he sits down in. Doesn't like this run, though. Looks like he's going to back out and take the time that he got, the minute 24.816. Kyle Surratt on the track. Was fastest in practice. Let's see what kind of time Kyle can drop down here. He's just getting onto the oval, the NASCAR oval, just for a brief moment. Then a hard right hand. Then we get into turn 12. This is where the drivers will hop onto the pit lane. Minute 16.068 seconds. That puts him P1. Top of the board goes Kyle Surratt. Time just about ticking down to its conclusion here. Again, a 10-minute quali session before we make things official. And there it is. Qualifying is complete. Kyle Surratt takes the top spot overall. Zach Millett pole in the GT category. Let's take a look at our starting grid for tonight's race. Round number 5 from Indianapolis. On the pole position, it is Kyle Surratt in the number 19. Starting in the second position, the 30 of Garrett Hagen. Row number 2, Tyson Pankow, the 21 machine. Andrew Locke, the number 24. He starts in the 4th spot. 5th goes to Dave Tamira in the number 14. Nigel Stock will start 6th position. Cody Anderson rolls off from the 8th spot. 9th goes to Kevin Blue, race admin here in Lonestar Racing in the Sports Car Series. 10th goes to Sean Roberts. 11th, Matt Sisoler. Leo Tucker is going to start 12th. 13th goes to Joe Tucker. Chris Goins, 14th. 15th, James Vance out of Canada. Jesse Redding, 16th. 17th, Matt Brewer. 18th position goes to Zach Millett. 18th position, Zach Millett is actually P1 in GT. Keep that in mind for later. Brack Crouch, the number 12, starts 19th. 20th goes to Drew Blaze. 21st is Mark Thomas. 22nd, Chris Pio. 23rd, Blake Langley. 24th, Drew Prohl. Andy Spicer and Eric Beadle, 25th, 26th, and shotgun on the field, the 421 of Britt Osborne. It's your starting grid. The field is out on the starting grid, right on the front straightaway here, getting ready to go under the green flag momentarily. And I'm not 100% certain if we're doing this standing start or if we're going to do pace laps. It kind of looks like it might be a standing start. So if that's the case, hold on to your butts because it's going to get real crazy going down into turn number 1. No standing start. Pace car rolls off as we had hoped. Well, some of us might have hoped. Others really wanted them to do that standing start and see how chaotic turn 1 was going to be. And the overlay's acting funny again as far as the timing tower goes. I'll see if I can get that fixed for you in just a moment here. And there we have it. Just to get everybody caught up again, the LMP2 category has that little yellow slash next to their running position. The GT3 category, a little blue slash next to their running position. You'll see some other drivers, Jesse Redding, Matt Brewer in the list, likely not running this. I know in many cases Jesse Redding tends to be the race admin. Matt Brewer may be assisting in those duties. So that's always a plus. You got someone, the eyes in the sky. They're taking a peek at things as the race progresses. Make sure everybody minds their P's and Q's. Of course, a staggered start. The LMP2 machines will roll first and then followed by GT3, just in case there is a major incident with the start of the LMP2 machines. So allow those GT3 entries to kind of get woed up and not get collected into that event. Field working through the 7, 8, and 9 complex. Field formed up nice and tight. Still got a couple corners to go. Long pace lap around this 2.6 mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway as the Porsche pace car hits pit lane. Waiting, waiting, waiting. We're going to be green here in just a moment. Field off. NASCAR Oval, turn number 1, going the opposite direction. Clockwise here at Indy. We come to the green flag. We're underway here at Indianapolis. Prototype's relatively clean through the first few corners. Zach Millett now into turn number 1. First lap for GT as well. Out to a decent lead already. A car length and a half back to Drew Blaze. Zach getting off the corner extremely well. Though we do have a couple of prototype LMP2 category machines off into the gravel. Joe Tucker possibly. Not really sure who was involved there. Looks like we had a few. Front though, Andrew Locke has taken over the lead. Let's see if we can get a look at it here. Joe Tucker, the first listed here in the crash. Looks like Joe just got the power down a little too soon. Around it went. Nothing significant there. Kyle Surratt, that was what we were trying to watch. And he started, I believe, P2. Gonna have to rewind this one to get it. It's the only way it's gonna give it to me. Oh, multi-car incident here. Oh, Kyle, while leading, just puts the left sides on that curbing. Easy to do, trying to use as much of the racetrack as possible. Again, cold tires. Looks like everybody having some struggles through that corner on the opening lap. Meanwhile, Andrew Locke out in front once again. The number 24 Fast MD Racing entry. Dave Tamira second. Locke's teammate James Vance now up to P3 as well. James Vance putting pressure on Dave Tamira, wants P2, looking to the outside. Off turn 14, gonna draft a little, use the slipstream down into turn 1. He does jump out way down to the inside of the 14, Dave Tamira. Dave, is he gonna try and outbrake him? He just can't do it. We do have a car going through. There's some runoff there. He's gonna continue on, but James Vance takes over the second spot over David Tamira. Dave now back in P3. Nigel Stock is 4th overall. 5th is Kyle Moyer. Not sure if that was Moyer that went off in turn 1 there, just a little bit too far. Real aggressive on the curbing there as well. Now we go back down into GT. Zach Millett in the Mercedes, still out in front from pole position, putting a bit of a gap on the second place running machine of Drew Blaze. It's about 3.2 seconds in the rears is the number 69 Ferrari of Blaze. Blaze has got his hands full with Brack Crouch looking to the back door as well. Brack trying to outbrake Blaze into the corner. Trying to cut the nose. He does it. He takes the spot away. Move Blaze back to P3 and Brack Crouch up to P2. Just to keep you guys all informed, we do have a couple of drivers with some incidents on track. Let's see, Lee Tucker having an issue as well. That's the number 32 machine, it looks to be. Again, put the power down, off corner exit. Real easy to do just that. He does get it to the bottom of the racetrack and avoids contact with other drivers. certainly damaging the rear wing just slightly on that entry. We ran into the same problem in the Radical. We ran that a couple of weeks ago, last Sunday evening, I believe. Getting the power down a little too hard on that final turn 14 where you get back on the NASCAR version of the track. Very easy to have the rear end step out depending on what kind of downforce levels you're working with. That's exactly what happened there. So that was Lee Tucker, now Britt Osborne. Britt in the Lamborghini, maybe a little contact there. I think that might have been Joe Tucker. Just a little, hey, hi, how are you? And Britt just slides it off through the gravel. Does he hit anything? No, continues on. Then another incident here, it looks like Cody Anderson. Headed into turn number 1 just moments ago. Cody Anderson, the number 17 LMP2. Gets deep on the brakes into 1. Maybe a little too much adjustment to the rear brakes. Locks them up, spins it around. Plenty of room to do it down there. Meanwhile, back out front, Andrew Locke still in command. Second place, James Vance, 1.6 seconds behind the 24s. Andrew runs a little wide there. Left side's almost all the way into the grass. James Vance is coming in a hurry. He's cut that deficit down by half. And that might be attributed to Andrew Locke's slight off track with the left sides in the grass. We'll see if Vance can pick up any slipstream down the straightaway here. James Vance is there. Keep an eye on this battle up front. Andrew Locke trying to go around Britt Osborne. Slow traffic in the way. Contact made. Andrew Locke doors the Lamborghini of Osborne, trying to not lose any time. Meanwhile, Vance is going to retake or just take the top spot away from teammate Andrew Locke. Both drivers getting into turn number 12, then the left-hand 13. See if Andrew can take this opportunity and use some slipstream himself. He's close enough. It will certainly come into play. James Vance, a slight connection issue there for just a moment. Eight minutes into this 1 hour event. Didn't really get into the race details too much early on. 60 minutes is the race distance. Unlimited tires, not that they'll likely use them. If they do, they're looking maybe one set at max. 70% fuel load for all cars with the exception of the LMP2 category. They are running on full fuel loads because they consume it so much faster than the GT car does. James Vance, in the meantime, pulling away from Andrew Locke, certainly has the pace here tonight. Slow BMW, and again, going to cause a little bit of a slow up here for Andrew Locke. Switch things up here back to GT. Zach Millett in the Mercedes, still out front, stretching out that advantage over the 12 of Crouch. It's 4 seconds back to yet another Mercedes, and then it's the third place machine of Mark Thomas in another Mercedes. He's gone by Drew Blaze. Blaze now slips to 4th. Blake Langley is 5th in GT. Mark Thomas in that Race Anywhere Bad Obsession Motorsports Mercedes. Again, it's been a pretty popular car on the service since iRacing released that about, oh man, I want to say almost 6 or 8 weeks ago now. Time has been flying by. Mark and Zach Millett both running this car in the official iRacing 6 Hours of the Glen. Ran into some problems there. Still had pace though at the very end of the race, even with damage. A few laps down, but was certainly keeping up with the class leaders. Laying down a little bit quicker times. It's just got to wonder if things had gone a little bit differently. Would they have been there for a podium, possibly a win? Could have been. Let's check on Kyle Surratt. Again, Kyle started front row outside of Hagen in turn, I believe it might have been turn 4. The right-hander got off to the left side into the curbing just a bit. Got the car crossed up, as did 2 or 3 other machines the same time in the same spot. Kyle battling through the field now, trying to work his way through some lap GT traffic. Kyle also pretty aggressive on the curbing in that right-hand turn 6. Kevin Blue closing in on Matt Sassoler. He popped the nose out to one side for a moment. Thought he had a run based on the draft that he was picking up down that short straightaway. Now he's trying to defend here. He's got Tyson Pankow at the back door. Oh, he locks him up. Slides through the right-hand turn 12. He's going to have to regroup. That's going to give up the spot. Kevin Blue slips back to 10th. Tyson Pankow easily takes that 9th position. We'll watch it again now from the onboard from Pankow as he closed in on the 54 of Blue. A little late on the brakes. Garrett Hagen must have had an issue as well on that first lap. In fact, it may have been the same set of corners as Kyle Surratt had his problems on that opening lap. I kind of think this may have been him as well. Again, started P1. So you got 2 fast guys out here. Just outside the top 10 is Garrett Hagen. He is slowly but surely going to work his way back towards the front. Kyle Surratt up to P6. It's just 1 out of the top 5. Hagen's lap times displayed there at the bottom. Lap 7, pretty quick, 16:93. Running a consistent pace now, starting to come down a little bit. Again, the lap traffic certainly plays a part in that. Sometimes it's difficult to get a real solid set of laps in because you're always trying to make passes. The slower GT traffic, it makes things a little bit difficult. Zach Millett continues to lead. Let's look at his lap times. 25.8, 14, 24.9, 25.0, 25.1. Really consistent times out of the 3.15 of Zach Millett as he continues to lead in GT3. Second place, Brett Crouch, pretty consistent as well. Consistently a couple of tenths slower then mill it, at least for now. You got to wonder again, we're running an open setup series here, so these guys have to go out and source their own, whether they're buying it from a setup shop, as we do have somebody, I think that was another LMP2, missed that turn one again, but continued on. Again, open setups. The drivers have to go out and acquire one from a setup shop or build their own, which is always an option. I know iRacing does provide some setups for some of these tracks that they run, not all of them, but it can give you a good baseline to start with. Go in there and play with how much fuel you want to have on board, your downforce levels, just basically set the car up to your driving styles. We see another prototype go off into the grass and back on. Looks like that might have been Matt Solar. Yes, it was indeed the 93 Matt Solar. In third place, Mark Thomas, also right now top 3 machines in GT, all Mercedes-Benz power. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all the Prancing Horse, all Ferraris. Drew Blaze is 4th. Behind Drew, you got Blake Langley. He is right there. Chris Pio in the 6th position. Andy Spicer in 7th. Further back, we got Eric Beadle in the BMW. Eric, I believe, new to this road racing series in particular. I think he's run some radical stuff over with the SCAR series. To my knowledge, I think he's more of a dirt guy than anything else, but willing to give anything a try, and he's doing just that here at Indy in the LSR Sports Car Series. And then we have Britt Osborne in the Lamborghini. Britt has had his share of struggles tonight. James Vance, the leader, closes in on Britt, the 421 machine. So with that, we're going to take our first break, get a quick side-by-side out of the way as well, so you don't miss a thing. Just stay with us, folks. We'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. While we were in the break, a few drivers getting together. We'll take a moment here to go look at that. I think Britt Osborne Sean Roberts, to name a couple. There may have been more. We'll try to get a look, but we're going to pull the incident with Sean Roberts first, see if it was contact or just an oops, but here it is. Down the front straightaway, there's Roberts. You see Brett Osborne in behind. Oh, a couple drivers. Dave Tamira just spins. Sean Roberts spins, and Brett Osborne collects them. Sean Roberts going to take the shortcut, the access road, a la Ross Chastain for those of you NASCAR guys. And back he rejoins the race. So it looks like everybody had their own set of issues coming into turn number 1 on that particular lap. Sean Roberts going to hit pit lane here 20 minutes in. Gotta assume he thinks he can make it the rest of the way from here. Looks like fuel only for this LMP2. No tires. The jacks do not go out. Sean is down and away. So through that exchange, Sean, the first driver to hit pit lane. You gotta wonder if that's related more so to the fact he spun and said, you know what, I might have damaged these tires, might have hurt him, might have made him angry. Let's go down pit road, cool him off while I get some fuel. Good to go to the end, more than likely. Sean Roberts now listed the last LMP2 on the lead lap at the moment. Vance, Surratt, and Locke, I think, are just getting through the first couple corners right now. Actually, Vance going through turn 12 and 13 right now. So that's going to put Sean Roberts a lap down. Again, everybody else is going to need to pit, so that's an opportunity he has to make up some ground, but now he's going to have to run some real consistent laps throughout the rest of this event if he's going to catch the 3 of Vance. That is Sean Roberts I'm speaking of. Dave Tamira also in the pit lane. And I think this might be a tow situation for Dave Tamira. Looks like he has crashed as well. Let's take a look at it. The Audi in front starting to blink out. Oh, he just tries to undercut it and makes some hard contact. Sends him on his lid. That explains the tow. And I believe Garrett Hagan has crashed as well. If he did, it wasn't a big one. There's not really any damage to that machine, so let's get a look at that. Looks like coming into turn number 1 again. Calamity Corner, it was that way with the NASCAR race that they ran here a couple weeks ago. Turn 1 was just a big disaster, but rear tires on some of these LMP2s starting to get a little warm. Not quite performing to everybody's liking here later on in this run. We're about 23 minutes in. A tough break for Dave Tamira, who typically has some pace out here. Tamira now listed in the 20th position overall. Kyle Moyer hits the pit lane. He was also a part of that incident with Dave Tamira, unless there's another car with the exact same paint scheme. But he's the one that collected Dave, actually sent him on his roof. Really nowhere for Kyle to go. So far, haven't seen anybody opt for new tires. We'll see what the 25 does as he creeps down this massive pit lane. Fast repair used for the 25. That's going to fix those issues. So through all this, though, James Vance continues to lead the race, but he has now got a new second-place car to worry about. That is Kyle Surratt. Kyle has worked his way all the way back up into the second spot, ahead of Andrew Locke. Andrew has not pit as of yet. Currently, Surratt has the best lap of the race, a minute 16.06 seconds. James Vance, a minute 16.72. Surratt working his way around Britt Osborne again. Looks like Drew Prohl is going to join us in just a moment. Before we get to him, he had an incident on track right around the time as Tamira. I think it was the same incident. We'll look at it another time here. Yeah, Drew Prohl was in that KFC Audi. We're going to bring him up into the broadcast booth. Get a word with Drew in a minute as we watch this wreck that he just had momentarily ago with Dave Tamira, Kyle Moyer. Looks like we've got Drew. Drew, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Drew, we're just watching the replay of the incident. It looked like you had an LMP2 take a bit of a dive bomb, really, into that right-hand turn 12, overshot the corner, locked up the rears, and then spun in front of you. You had nowhere to go, neither did Kyle Moyer. Is that kind of how it looked from your end?
Yep, I saw him coming. I slowed up, dropped all the way down to second gear, almost first gear, and let him go. And then when I went through, he was just spinning out to the right.
Well, tough.
I came to a stop.
Tough break for certain. How much damage is on your car? Are you able to get it back out there, or what's the plan here?
We'll see what we can do. I know the right front was basically destroyed. I couldn't steer left, so.
Well, tough break, Drew. Good luck getting it fixed. Anything else you got for us?
No, I got punted by Kevin earlier. I think that was a connection issue. He said I was on the left side of the track, and I was actually on the right side, so I think I flashed across.
Well, admins will certainly take a look at all of it after the race. We'll get it squared away. In the meantime, good luck, and hope you get a decent finish out of this if you can.
Sir.
It was Drew Prohl, driver of that KFC Audi we saw involved in the incident. Dave Tamira and Kyle Moyer. Again, Dave, he did kind of dive it down in there. I can't say that he didn't. I know that it's hard to be patient, especially when you have such a faster car compared to these GTs. But you sometimes have to really train yourself to say, all right, I need to be really, really aggressive here to make this work, or I need to wait another corner or two to make it work. In Dave Tamira's case, if he had just waited another corner or two, yeah, he might have lost a little bit more time, but nowhere near the amount of time that he's losing now, having to tow back to pit lane after that incident landed him on his roof. Checking back to the leaders in GT. James Vance, actually the leader in LMP2. I think that's Vance, yep. Goes by GT category leader Zach Millett. Zach has led from the pole. This number 32 machine, a familiar paint scheme, but not a familiar name, at least not in this series. I don't think Lee Tucker has been out here with us as of late. Does share a very familiar paint scheme, I think. Let's see here. Kyle Surratt, no. Matt Soler, almost identical paint scheme. They look very, very similar. Back to GT, though, there is Brack Crouch. 9 seconds now in the rears to Zach Millett. Still running P2, just doesn't quite have the same pace, same consistency of the 315 at this point in the race. We're just about to halfway, about 45 seconds shy of halfway. We haven't seen everybody take pit stops. In fact, many have yet to at all. Certainly, if we get halfway, these guys certainly know they can make it to the finish on this final stop. Not sure if anybody has enough fuel to stretch it without stopping. I know the LMP2s, they do have a full fuel load, but again, as we mentioned earlier on, they do burn it a lot faster, so they're going to have to stop regardless. But the open setup here with the GT category machines, they do have a 70% fuel load, to which we talked about earlier as well. I just don't know, even with supreme fuel economy, really doing a good job saving, I don't know if you can have enough pace to save all the way to the end without stopping and still salvage a decent finish. Well, we'll see if anybody tries it. I know Zach Millett, we talked to him earlier on in the race prior to broadcast go live, and he was really targeting for something. Well, what if I just put a ton of fuel in it? Well, again, that 70% fuel load, it does kind of calculate into that, and I think the whole plan by the admins is so these guys are forced to at least make one stop. But guys were thinking about it, trying to go as long as they could on a set of fuel, run that endurance-style setup. It gets quicker as it gets light on fuel without changing tires. They'd have to quick splash and go later at the end, possibly. We'll see if that's what happens with Zach Millett or really any of these guys, whether it's GT or LMP2. Though you guys are watching us here on the YouTube side, we've got 12 of you in the stream. No one's really saying anything. Cody said hi, but I think he did it from the race car, so I typed back to Cody. Hi, Cody. That's Cody Anderson. Cody out there running in a LMP2 category. Had a issue earlier on in the race, but currently runs in the 8th position. But don't hesitate, guys. Pop in that stream chat. We talk about it every week. Say hi, say hello. Tell us where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. Hey, Steve, you're an idiot. You're not showing the GT guys enough, or you're not showing LMP2 enough. Whatever it is, I can handle it. But please, come in and say hello. Even if it's just, hey, what's up? What's going on? Thanks for the broadcast. Anything. I don't care. It does help, especially if we get a little bit of a lull in the race. This one's been pretty good to watch. There's always someone spinning out or making passes. It's been relatively busy to watch, so that's a plus. But again, you're always welcome. Please do it. Let us know where you're watching from, cheering for, etc., etc., etc. Probably saying that wrong, too. You can correct me there if you want. It doesn't matter to me. Cody closing in on Mark Thomas. Again, Mark Thomas running in the 2nd spot in GT. Zach Millett has hit pit lane, though. Does not appear to have taken any tires, so this could be the final stop for Millett. Just past halfway. Interesting strategy. Don't know. Maybe he changed some things up. Just kind of cutting this race into 2 sections. No tires for the Mercedes. He's down and away. Fuel only, but that inherits the lead to Brack Crouch. Brack's been about 9 seconds behind Millett prior to that pit stop. We'll see how long he stays out on the racetrack. The longer he's out there, the shorter that fuel stop's really going to need to be in most cases. Crouch certainly plenty of pace out there. Currently at 11.7 seconds ahead of 2nd place running Mark Thomas. Dave Tamira back on track after his incident. Of course, he had to tow to pit lane to get there. Burn that fast repair. I believe they have 2. I didn't catch that in the notes tonight. At least 1, obviously. They've used them, but I think they may have 2 fast repairs if necessary. Typically not, but sometimes we go to some tighter tracks and things get a little chaotic, even on the first lap. You want to wad up 3/4 of your field and call it a night if that happens. So they kind of open up the door a little bit, have a little bit of a mulligan for the drivers in case something does occur that takes everybody out. Kyle Surratt and Andrew Locke both on pit lane. Again, we stressed this early on. Such a long pit lane. lose a ton of time. I think we clocked it over 34 seconds just going down the pit lane and out, even if you don't stop. In this case, you're going to take that 34 and add on at least a fuel stop. Kyle Surratt down and away. No tires for the 19. Andrew Locke, I can only assume, going to do the same thing. It's the 30 of Garrett Hagen tries to get into the box. A little miscommunication there, possibly. It's going to cost about a second, maybe two for the 30 as he hits his pit box as well. So I guess the question remains, when will James Vance hit pit lane? We talked, they do have a full fuel load on these machines, but they burn them a little bit faster. They go consume that fuel a lot quicker than the GT category, so you would expect that with that being the case, these guys might still be pitting around the same time. Teammate Andrew Locke, he went down pit lane, got his fuel, but James Vance still out there on his original set of tires and original fuel load. We'll see how much he's got left before he can hit pit lane. And we've got Sarah Bognoski. I hope I'm saying it right, Sarah. I didn't ask Millet on the proper pronunciations, but Sarah's saying hello in the YouTube chat. Sarah is the loving girlfriend of Zach Millet. I got to break your chops a little bit. We saw him down at Watkins Glen here this weekend for the NASCAR races. Had a good time. Had a lot of fun. Left there this morning. I'm not going to lie, everybody, I'm tired. But we got situated. We got ready to go here for tonight's LSR Sports Car Series Round 5 from Indy. Wouldn't miss this one for the world. At least that was the plan, and we made it work. So we're here having a good time. James Vance having a great time at the front of the field. Still out in front since taking the lead away from teammate Andrew Locke quite a while ago, likely more so due to Locke getting the left sides in the grass, cost him some time, but once Vance got on around, slowly but surely increased the gap between himself and Locke. Locke slipped to the third position. He has since taken the time to pit. Is he in the pits again? Andrew Locke down pit road another time. Let's see what happened with him. I don't know if Andrew got a penalty. Again, these drivers do have a pit limiter button, so they don't have to worry about maintaining speed. It is slightly quicker to try and do it the hard way. But is risk versus reward, is it really that important to try? Because if you get busted, it's going to cost you. I hope that is not the case with Andrew Locke, but he does still sit in the pit box. Jacks do not come out. We do not change tires. I can't imagine he's going to put even more fuel in. That would have been a long stop to do a second run of fuel. Just curious what's going on there with Locke, but maybe we'll find out later. Back in GT once again, Brad Crouch still the leader. He's got a 20.67 second advantage over the Ferrari of Drew Blaze. And then another 24 seconds total back to the number 9 Ferrari of Chris Pio. That's your top 3 in GT. Those drivers, none of them have made a pit stop at this point in time. Drivers that have stopped in GT, running 4th is Zach Millet. 5th is Mark Thomas. Teammates both in the Mercedes. Last 2 on the lead lap currently. So no close battles at this point in GT. We're going to wait to see what happens when these top 3 drivers finally take the opportunity to peel off the racetrack and get their final service of the day. Will it be tires? Will it be fuel only? Seems like so far everyone's been on that fuel only strategy. Back out though, James Vance putting another lap on a GT machine. Blistering pace out of Vance so far. Again, consistency wise, he's still throwing laps in the 16s, 26 and 30 laps in. His last minute 16 second lap, lap 29. And we talked earlier about sometimes the differential between those laps are more related to the fact that the LMP2s are significantly quicker than the GTs, and you have to really plan your moves. Look at the car in front of you, realize how quickly you're catching them, try to anticipate where exactly on the racetrack you're going to catch them, and make your plan from there. No hot lap for James Vance here, as I think he is entering pit lane. Indeed, he is. So we'll take a look here, see how long Vance stays in the pit box. Again, teammate Andrew Locke made 2 stops. Don't know if maybe he had fuel turned off or had an alternate problem. Andrew Locke's total pit time, 1:33:53. That was the last stop. I don't have the prior data. 43.48 seconds in the box. Eyes on James Vance here in the pit box. 17.85 second stop. So I'm just wondering, 43 seconds for Andrew Locke. Very well could have been a 40-second penalty. Maybe he was in the box a little too long for it to be a solid 40 seconds, but something certainly amiss with the 24. James Vance down and away. Likely his last stop of the race. If that's the case, the rest of these guys are in trouble. With that said, we're going to take our final break. We're going to step aside, still going side by side. Don't worry, you won't miss a thing. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course here in Virtual Speedway, Indiana. It's race number 5 of the LSR Sports Car Series. LSR meaning Lonestar Racing. Just about 16 minutes remain here in this race. James Vance, leader overall in the GT category. New leader, Zach Millett. Again, Brad Crouch making a pit stop to get fuel. Get him the rest of the way to the finish. Crouch is down and away. Took a lot less fuel than Zach Millett. Crouch, his whole stop, 16.4 seconds. Millett, 25.3. That said, Millett still enjoying an 8-second advantage over that other Mercedes, but things have certainly switched back to Mercedes 1, 2, 3. In fact, Millett is approved us to pull him into the booth during green flag conditions. We're going to do just that here as soon as he can get back to the front straightaway. Zach will be our proverbial in-race reporter. Zach Millett at Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Steve. How's it going, man?
Doing well, sir. You're back up in P1. We talked off air just a moment ago. Wondering if Brack Crouch was going to make that opportunity to pit road and get some fuel. He did just that. You've taken over the top spot.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to pit. I didn't know if he had some sort of strategy that I didn't know about, or if he could make the whole race. I know we were talking about a pre-race, but I see that we just took it back, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Well, less than 15 minutes remain, 14 to be exact. Good luck the rest of the way, Zach. Keep that thing clean.
Thank you, sir. We'll try our best.
That was Zach Millett, driver of that Mercedes at the front of the GT field. That S4 guy, 315. It's not just his car number, it's also his area code. So let's try and go through the field here. We're coming in on the conclusion of the race. We'll do a little different. We're looking at Zach Millett right now. Again, he is the GT category leader. Started the race on the pole position here this afternoon. Second place, Brack Crouch. He started second position. He's running second position. Both drivers spent some time at the front of the field through cycles of pit stops. Crouch relegated back to P2. Mark Thomas, teammate with Zach Millett. They've been working together as far as setups are concerned. Both drivers having a good afternoon. Thomas in that podium position. He's up one spot from where he started, so all is good working their way forward. Drew Blaze, he is down one spot, but again, a good race so far for the Lonestar Racing entry, the number 69 Ferrari out there. Having a good afternoon. Car still looks clean. That's the biggest part of it. You got to get these things home to the finish in order to win one of them. Chris Payo, I still haven't gotten the pronunciation on it just yet. He is running fifth in GT. Also, look at that, another Mercedes. It's mostly Ferrari. Mostly Mercedes and Ferrari. We've got a couple of interlopers there with BMWs and such. But not here. Andy Spicer in the sixth position. Also in a Ferrari. Spicer up 2 spots since the drop of the green flag. Eric Beadle running in seventh. Again, not his cup of tea is this road racing thing. Again, he's more of a dirt guy, but trying his hand at it, and he's up 2 spots. So all is well with the number 22 of Eric Beadle. Again, running in P7 in category. Britt Osborne, again, tough afternoon so far for Britt. He's been involved in a couple of things. Not necessarily all his fault, but he's still learning, and he'll admit that 100%, so I'm not picking on him. He's having a good run. He's not giving up. That is the most important part. Britt Osborne up 2 spots. Again, moving forward, 8th in class. 9th in class, we talked about Drew Prohl. He was involved in that incident with the LMP2, kind of dive bombing him into turn number 12. Looks like he's been out for quite some time from that incident and just now actually exits the session. Blake Langley, I think he is gone as well. The 10th position in class. And that wraps up the GT category. Then we go to LMP2 once again here. James Vance, very strong, very fast at the front of the field still. Now, I don't know if Vance had a penalty because I believe James won at Monza last week. So he had an EOL at the start. Couldn't qualify, I believe, as the win penalty, and he had to start at the end of the LMP2s. Worked his way quickly towards the front, so essentially he's passed 14 cars for position to get to where he is. And he's got a 29-second advantage over Kyle Surratt. Again, Surratt running in the second spot. Started on pole, I believe. And Kyle getting into an issue early on, as well as many other front row drivers did. Spun the car out. You see there's a little bit of damage on that machine. Not terribly bad, but a lot of time to make up here with just over 10 minutes remaining. Kyle Surratt running P2. Matt Sisoler. Matt's up to P3 in the number 93 machine. Matt having a really good day. Again, he's in the third spot, but he's up 8 positions since the drop of the green flag. Garrett Hagen starting in the second spot this afternoon. Had his troubles as well when he spun. But again, no damage or minimal if it's even there. Hagen running in the fourth spot. Nigel Stock. Very busy paint scheme on that number 90. Kind of like it. Nigel running 1 position higher. He's into the top 5. Tyson Pankow, he's been involved in 1 or 2 issues here today. Nothing of any major consequence. Car looks pretty clean as of now. He's down a few spots. Started in the top 3. Currently runs 6th in the overall. Cody Anderson also had his issue. Nothing significant for him either, but he is up 1 position in the 7th spot. He tries to work around the 32 machine of Leo Tucker. Sean Roberts in the 8th position. Sean up 2 spots. Kyle Moyer down 2 positions in 9th. Again, Kyle involved in a couple of incidents as well, as you do see some damage on that LMP2. Crosses the stripe here at Indianapolis. That brings us to Dave Tamira in the 10th position. Again, there's no quit in this guy. Very rare. No matter how good or bad his night is going, you will see him exit before the race is over unless he just cannot finish it. Tamira, known for being very aggressive. He's got some pace, that is for sure. But got a little bit too aggressive. I think it was on the entry to turn 12, trying to make a pass on the KFC Audi of Drew Prohl. Kind of dove it to the inside. Prohl gave him the space, but then Tamira got loose, lost the rear end of the car, little oversteer, and then the wreck happened from there. Also collected, I believe it was also Kyle Moyer that hit Tamira. Tamira really got the worst of it, but it wasn't a good day really for Drew Prohl after that either. But that's Dave Tamira. He's down 5 spots, qualified top 5, running 10th currently. Chris Goins back in the 11th position. Chris Goins, another Lonestar Racing team driver. Goins up 3 spots since the drop of the green flag. Talked about Lee Tucker a moment ago, the number 32. Also sporting a Pro Sim Rig paint scheme on that machine. Gets a little bit deep into the corner. I believe this is turn 1. Yes, indeed. That extra runoff certainly coming into play here and helping some of these drivers not tear up equipment. You got some space. Of course, it does go to grass. If you really miss the corner, you can go straight, take that access road. Only seen that once or twice here today. Lee Tucker running 12th, started 12th. Can't complain there. That's as long as you're not going backwards, it's a good day. Now, the next driver's involved. I think Andrew Locke may have had an issue as well. We'll get to that momentarily. He is in the pit box, has been for quite some time. We're talking more than 6 minutes at this point. I'm not sure exactly why. Trying to look through some of the data here to see if there's any indication that he had crashed, but I don't see anything there. Continuing on the rest of our running order, though, Andrew Locke would have been the next person on that list. He is 13th in the LMP2 category, but that would put him 20th in the overall. He's actually behind 7 GT category machines based on where he was when he hit pit lane. He's been there for over 6 minutes, so he's just going to keep free falling. Then we have Joe Tucker. Joe Tucker, I believe, out of the race. 14th in category, 22nd overall. Kevin Blue, maybe the same thing. 15th in category, 23rd overall. Then Jesse Redding and Matt Brewer listed. Again, I think they are here only in an admin role. So if you see them in the standings, don't bother worrying about it. James Vance again on a tear. He's passing the second place machine in GT. Next on the list will be that Mercedes of Zach Millett, who leads in GT3 right now. Again, Zach Millett with about a 6.9 second advantage over Brad Crouch. Still trying to look through some of this timing data here and see if I can find anything with Andrew Locke. All I see is that Andrew had re-entered the pits at lap 35 for reasons unknown. I don't see any issues, and he is in the pits at lap 34 as well. So I don't know, maybe he's having an issue getting fuel in the car, maybe a setting on the computer that's not allowing that to happen. Who knows? It's just conjecture at this point, but certainly something amiss with Andrew Locke tonight. James making short work of Zach Millett. That's clean the way you want to do it. It's quick, it's painless, it's over with. Didn't really cost Vance a ton of time. Vance and Zach are familiar with racing with each other as well, so that's kind of a thing that helps. You talk about, well, I'll give you a stick and ball reference. You talk about in a baseball team, you've got your middle infielders, and the guys that work well together, the guys that have been working together for a very, very long time. They have some of that chemistry. They kind of anticipate the movements of what's going to happen. It makes them that much better. The same is true if you're racing around guys that you're familiar with, that you know really well. If you can kind of anticipate what move they're going to make, what is the typical thing that they would do in this scenario, you race a guy long enough with him or against him, you're going to figure that out. Kind of get in a mental picture when you approach him, especially in this case with James Vance approaching a GT car. Predictability, it makes all the difference with these guys. 56 minutes down, approaching the 3 minutes to go mark. I think we'll get 2, maybe 3 more laps before we call this one official. Vance gets the right sides off the curbing in the grass just a little. Nothing to be too concerned with. He does have a 33-second advantage over second place Kyle Surratt. Nothing to be concerned with there, but Surratt may have something to worry about as Solar's closing in on him. Don't know if he's going to have enough time. It's a 5-second advantage back to third place. Two and a half minutes to go. Probably not enough time to cut too deep into that deficit. Unless something significant happens here, Vance, Surratt, and Solar will be our podium drivers. And possibly an issue with Zach Millett. Brad Crouch has taken the top spot. Millett is right there behind. Not sure what happened here at all. This is late in the going. 2 minutes remain. This is for the lead and possibly the win in GT. Zach Millett going to have to apply some significant pressure now. In fact, I do have it. We'll take a quick look at it. Zach Millett, this is the replay. Gets in, gets a little loose. Does a little landscaping at the Indy road course here. Loses a ton of time. Luckily doesn't hit anything. So he's going to have to really work here to get back around Brad Crouch. This is going to be the battle to watch with a minute and a half remaining. Don't know if they'll get a white flag here this time or not. Two Mercedes work through turns 5 and 6 down the short chute. Going to be down into a hard left-hand turn 7. See if he can do anything with Crouch here. Not close enough. He is gaining ground, but there's another prototype, another LMP2 coming. He's got to be aware this is the battle for the win here. We've got less than 1 minute officially on the clock. Don't even know if these drivers are going to make it back to the stripe before the race concludes. With that said, James Vance into turn number 1, still at speed. So Vance has taken the white. Of course, it's not giving me any kind of flag events. So we're just going to make that assumption here. We're going to have to go quickly back to our GT3 battle. Oh, and Zach Millett has had some trouble. Now the second place machine is Mark Thomas. Nope, maybe it's not. Where did Zach go? Oh, there he is. Top of Zach's car looked almost exactly like Mark Thomas. I missed it. But he's losing some ground here. It's a minute. Sorry, did it again. 1.3 seconds. The deficit that Millett needs to make up. This is the final lap. Crouch is going to have the win here. James Vance through last couple of corners here. 12, 13, and then 14. And he's going to see a checkered flag. Plenty of distance out the back door. 34-second advantage for James Vance. Off turn 14. Checkered flag waves. Vance wins it here at Indy. We'll go quickly back to the GT battle. Not much of one anymore. Millett's still a second in the rearview mirror. Don't know if he's going to have anything for Crouch. Simple mistake is going to cost him a win here at Indy. Crouch and Millett through 12, 13, and now turn 14. Crouch off the final corner, down the straightaway, checkered flag waves, and he's going to win in GT. Brad Crouch takes the checkered flag. Zach Millett, P2. Mark Thomas, P3. And there you have it, James Vance, your race winner here from Indianapolis, overall winner. Brad Crouch was the winner in GT. We're going to try and get a word with our top winners, I guess you could say, and winners in each class. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way, and we'll be back with them after this. Stay with us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Round number 5 of the LSR Sports Car Series is in the books, and James Vance is victorious with the overall and indeed, of course, with the LMP2 category. We're going to get a word here with James in just a moment. We do have him in the booth, and the good news is we have a mic that's working properly this time, so shouldn't have any issues, hopefully. James sounds a little bit better on his end because we had some issues there as well. Nonetheless, let's go to it. James Vance in the broadcast booth. It's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy, James?
Yeah, got a copy. How's it going, man?
It's going good, James. Good to hear from you, man. Congratulations. Another win here at Indianapolis. You were starting from the tail of the LMP2 field. Tell us how you worked your way through. How scary was it? You got through there, it looks like, without a scratch on the car. Tell us about your race.
Well, first and foremost, it's good to hear you crystal clear this week. I had some mic issues last week. And secondly, well, first and foremost, next to that, thank you for putting this on. The race was crazy, man. I mean, I have a little bit to thank for the track itself, as the start. The start was definitely, to my advantage. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of did what I could and stayed clean. I got to Andrew's bumper, and I knew I had like a few tenths, maybe in that opening stint. And I mean, he didn't make it too difficult. And luckily, I think some of the other guys made a couple mistakes, and we just made a clean strategy. So happy to get 2 in a row.
We saw Andrew have a little bit of a slip. I think it might have been on the exit of 10 or 11. Put the left sides in the grass just a bit. It wasn't too long after that you made the move and got by. Later on in the race, it seems Andrew had some other issues. Are you aware, teammate-wise, of what happened with him?
I mean, I know he was messing with some new hardware, which is always a bit of a difficulty going into a race. So I'm sure that has to play a part of it. And he also had 0 practice, so he came into it, and I think I did about 12 laps before the race. So, a little bit of. I think the track's just tough, and it was pretty tough out there, like when you're in a pack. So, when you're out of the rhythm at the Indy Road Course, it's really difficult. But like I said, happy to get the win, and it was a lot of fun.
High commitment and plenty of rhythm here at Indy. That's the best way to describe it, certainly. Congratulations, James, on the win. Before we let you go, anybody else you need to thank?
I'd like to thank my girlfriend for putting up with my hours on the sim going. And I'd like to thank my real life IMSA team, Fast MD Racing, for allowing me to do this stuff. Andrew, he's my teammate and all this stuff, so bummer he didn't get the result today, but I know he'll be back next week. I mean, thanks to you guys, and thanks to the competition. A lot of fun, and looking forward to doing more of these.
All right, James. Again, congratulations. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
It was James Vance, your winner in overall LMP2 as well. We'll go to Brett Crouch next. Winner in GT. I don't know if I want to say it's a surprise win. He had the pace, but possibly got this one off a bit of a mistake from Zach Millett. Take him how you can get him. Brett Crouch, you got a copy. It's Steve in the booth.
Yes, I do. Good evening.
Brack, you're breaking up just a bit. We're going to give it a shot, though. Tell us about your race. It came to you very, very late. Zach Millett with a bit of an off, no wreck, but really, really gave you some track position there, and you were able to hold him off for the last few minutes of the race. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad because Zach certainly had the pace on me. I was surprised to head out onto the oval and see him there getting back onto track. And then, I stayed ahead of him. He was catching me. And just the last lap, I was able to put a P2 between us. And that, I think, saved the win for me.
Well, Brack, it certainly looked good. I did notice also the difference in pit stops between yourself and Millett. You were about 10 seconds less time in the box than the 315. Was it just a matter of you had more fuel to start with, or I mean, just took as little as you possibly could? It's just that's a big difference, and it certainly definitely paid off.
Yeah, I've always said that going long on tires and fuel is a good plan. So I was saving that whole first stint quite a bit just to make that extra lap, and then I did overfuel a little bit, but I knew that I was going to be pushing in that after my pit stop. So, but yeah, it was all about fuel saving.
Well, Brett, congratulations. You take home the win here at Indianapolis. Again, you take them any way you can get them. You still had to earn it because Millett wasn't too far behind, but you did start to drive away there at the end. So, again, well done, sir. Congratulations. And before we let you go, is there anybody else that you need to thank?
Well, mostly just my racing team, RPM. We spend a lot of time together working on this stuff. So it's a great organization, and I'd like to thank them a lot.
All right, Brock. Well, again, good luck next week, and thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
That's Brett Crouch. Winner in GT3 takes over the top spot in the closing minutes of the event. Looks like we may have Zach Millett available for comment as well. Zach, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Steve, how's it going, man?
Zach. I don't know really what to say, man. That one's got to hurt. I mean, I'll say it how it is. It looked like you kind of threw it away there in the closing minutes of the race. Great save. You sent it through the grass, but unfortunately it cost you a ton of time, and that's all she wrote from there. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on me. I ended up catching a lap car there in probably the worst spot of the track, and I got kind of held up there for the first couple turns and saw an opening, and I just went full bore into it. And in retrospect, I should have remembered I had a 6 or 7 second lead, and I could have just nursed it around him to be safe. But we learn from these things, right, Steve?
We certainly do. We're taking a look at it here in the replay. Again, a little tank slap as well. Sends you through the grass. I kind of thought you were going to go all the way back out on the oval and just hammer down, but not to be. Brad catches you, gets on by. I thought you had him for a little bit there after that. He had a bit of a draft and a slipstream, but it just wasn't meant to be. He ended up pulling away. Going back a little bit further, we looked at the pit stops, and I talked to Brack about this as well. Your pit stop was about 10 seconds longer in the box than Brack's was. Now, you guys both run a Mercedes. Obviously, it's an open setup. Did you take more than you had planned, or was it just a matter of how much you started the race with that required so much fuel at the end?
Well, I went one more click on the fuel. So, I mean, what was it, like 0.3, 0.4 more? 10 seconds, though. That's a lot more than I anticipated. I was hoping maybe, 2, 3, 4 seconds even.
Yeah, looking at the timing, I think yours was 25.3 and Brack's was a 16:47 as far as in the pit box itself. So definitely a big change there. He did admit to saying that he was in fuel save pretty much the entire first half, just trying to stretch it as long as he could to make a push at the end. It paid off. But either way, second place, not too shabby for Zach Millett. Good luck next week if you're available. I don't know if you're running all these 100%, but sure would be nice to see you out there laying down some laps and maybe chasing another victory.
Yeah, I hope to make as many of these as possible. I'm going to miss the next 2, unfortunately. We're going to be on vacation, but after that, we're going to get right back to it and hit them hard.
I want pictures of you in a Mickey Mouse hat.
Oh, you'll get them, guy.
Zach Millett, second place in GT. I know we typically don't do the GT3 interviews or even the second place interviews in general, but we saw Zach was available for comment. Wanted to get a word with him. Hey, man, before we let you go, is there anybody you need to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcasting, as always. I'd like to thank Kevin Blue for putting this thing together. This league's a lot of fun with a lot of great guys jumping in their Discord. It is fun. These guys are characters. Shoot me a follow on what do we got? TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. That S4 guy.
You'd think after this long he'd know his hashtags and all that.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Different order every time.
Get out of here, Millett.
Bye, Steve.
See ya. That was Zach Millett, second place finisher in GT3. Again, a tough one. Heartbreaker for sure. Still manages that second spot, but it's still got a sting. Let's take a look at our race results. See if I can get this done right this time. All right, looks like we do have it broken up by class. Again, the yellow indicates the LMP2 category. Kyle Surratt. This is practice results, so that's not going to help us this time for sure. Sorry about that, guys. First race back after vacation. It's a little rough. James Vance, of course, your winner in LMP2. Kyle Surratt was second place. Matt Sisoler, Garrett Hagen, Nigel Stock, the top 5. Tyson Pankow, Cody Anderson, Sean Roberts, Kyle Moyer, Dave Tamir after some tough luck and some over-aggression, I got to admit, finishes 10th. Chris Goins, Leo Tucker was 12th. Going into GT3, there is Brack Crouch, your winner in GT3. Then you have Zach Millett, Mark Thomas. That rounds out the podium in GT class. Drew Blaze was 4th. A good run for Drew. Solid finish. Got it home. Was 4 laps down, but it is what it is. That's to the overall leader, so it's not necessarily on the GT side. They were all on the same lap together, so that's not a big issue. Drew Blaze, of course, like I said, finishes 4th. Chris Pyle, 5th. Andy Spicer, 6th, 18th overall. 7th was Eric Beadle, 19th overall. 8th, Britt Osborne. 21st in the overall was Andrew Locke. Joe Tucker was 22nd overall. Again, these are some guys that had some issues that are kind of mixed in with the GT category. Again, Drew Prohl, 23rd overall, 9th in class. And then you have Blake Langley rounding out the field as well. 2 other drivers, we don't even need to get to them because they did not start the race. I believe Jesse Redding, Matt Brewer, just in an admin role. So that's going to wrap it up for us here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Talking to Kevin Blue prior to the race, he's like, "Man, I don't know how I feel about this one. It's Indy can be a challenge. It is, it is what it is. But I hope it's a good race. I think it was a great race. I think since they've redone this track, and I mean iRacing, they rescanned it, got the updated information in there, new curbing, all that stuff. We ran the Radicals here, and it was a blast. I love this place. I think the guys out there, for the most part, enjoyed it as well. So hopefully that's the case. Either way, it was a fun one. It was a good one to call. Great race in general. Guys are getting better at this, and that's fun to watch as well. That's going to wrap it up for us, though. I'm the lone man up in the booth here tonight. I don't have any helpers, but got to sincerely say congratulations to James Vance, winner in LMP2, and a big congratulations to Brack Crouch, sticking to it, not giving up, and being there at the end, taking over the lead with less than 3 minutes in the race, and taking home the win in GT3 here at Indy. Congratulations. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you at the next one.